Professional interpreters have clearly established during the introduction that everything that is said will be interpreted, and do not censor what is said, even when requested to do so.
So, have you been following the diet I prescribed?
¿Ha seguido la dieta que le indiqué?
Mierda, era mi cumpleaños. ¿Está loco? No le diga eso. Sí, he seguido la dieta.
Shit, it was my birthday. Don't tell him that. Is he crazy? Yes, I have.
The interpreter will interpret everything you say so that we are talking to each other just as if we spoke the same language. Yes?
El intérprete interpretará todo lo que usted diga a manera que tengamos una conversación normal como si habláramos el mismo idioma, ¿sí?
So how was your birthday?
Cuénteme, ¿cómo le fue en su cumpleaños?
Lo pasé muy bien, pero comí kilos de pastel de chocolate y helado. Me tomé unas cervezas y fumé algunos cigarrillos también.
It was great, but I had tons of chocolate cake, ice cream, and a couple of beers. And I smoked a few cigarettes too.
How did you do the rest of the time?
¿Cómo le ha ido con la dieta en general?
Bastante bien, excepto que no sé qué hacer cuando mi suegra nos invita a cenar. Nosotros no somos como los americanos y no podemos negarnos a comer lo que la suegra cocina.
Very good, except I don't know what to do when my mother-in-law invites us to dinner. We're not like you Americans. We can't refuse to eat what she cooks.
The professional interpreter will interpret side conversations and anything in auditory range. It may not seem important, however, not knowing what is being discussed can make patients very nervous. A patient who cannot understand the provider's language, listening to a provider and technician discussing how to set up a machine, may imagine they are discussing any number of things which they are not telling her.
We're going to be doing a special kind of EKG on your child.
Le vamos a hacer un electrocardiograma especial a su hija.
Está bien.
¿Ok?
These peaks that you see here are very typical. What you need to do is to adjust the frequency so you manage to get them all in the right range. You don't need to interpret this.
No es necesario que interprete esto. If the interpreter doesn't interpret this, the mother will worry about what you're saying. El intérprete le dijo al doctor que si no interpreto esto, la madre podrá preocuparse por no saber qué está diciendo.
Caregivers should be aware that even trivial stuff may cause the patient anxiety if they cannot understand it, and the patient should have the right to decide if something is important or not. Professional interpreters are careful to maintain the boundaries of their roles. They do not, in the spirit of service and cooperation, assume the role of the provider, even when requested by the provider to do so. The interpreter must refrain from counseling or advising patients or taking on the role of the doctor. Since it is very difficult for patients not to begin talking to the interpreter or to view them as a confidant, standard practice in medical facilities should be for the interpreters to leave the room with the doctor.
Here you go.
Aquí tiene. Sir, I have not yet interpreted your list of questions. Señor, aún no he interpretado la lista de preguntas.
That's fine. Just call me when you have the answer.
Está bien, llámeme cuando tenga las respuestas. I'm sorry, but you need to stay while I interpret. Perdón, pero tiene que quedarse aquí mientras interpreto.
You are a smart girl. Just fill out the form and I'll be back. I'm a busy person.
Con permiso, en un momento vuelvo. Muy bien.
You need to get answers to those questions I wrote down.
I'm sorry, the interpreting code of ethics prevents me from assuming the role of a provider. I can, however, interpret for you.
I don't have time to sit and listen to you interpreting. Just get the answers.
Do you give your English-speaking patients questions to answer?
Of course not. They have already filled the intake form.
As has your patient, why do you ask the questions again?
Because, look, just try. Fine, I don't have time for that.
It is difficult to interpret many questions at once. If the provider asks several questions at a time and the patient begins to answer before the interpreter is finished interpreting, some of the questions may accidentally be missed, and the provider will not know this. In non-interpreted conversation, the patient can interrupt the practitioner and the dialogue is co-constructed. In this scene, the interpreter will redirect the provider to ask only one question at a time, but with limited success.
I'm going to ask you questions about your health. Go from the top of your head down to your toes. You ever have any headaches, feel dizzy, have seizures?
Wait while the interpreter interprets. Voy a hacerle algunas preguntas relacionadas con su salud sobre distintas partes del cuerpo, empezando con la cabeza. ¿Tiene alguna vez dolores de cabeza, convulsiones o se siente mareada?
No, nada de eso.
No, none of those things.
You ever had any problems with your eyes or see double? Have you had any changes in your vision? How about your ears? Or do you have any problems swallowing?
Please wait while I interpret. Por favor, espere mientras interpreto. ¿Ha tenido alguna vez problemas en los ojos o algún trastorno de la vista, como ver doble? ¿Ha notado cambios en la vista? ¿Ha tenido problemas en los oídos? ¿Tiene dificultad para tragar la comida?
Oigo bien. En cuanto a la comida, no, nunca he tenido problemas.
I hear fine. And as for eating, no, I've never had a problem.
Have you ever had any surgeries?
¿Alguna vez le han operado?
Pues solo tuve las cesáreas cuando nacieron mis hijos, pero no, he sido una persona muy sana, no como mi madre, que siempre tenía problemas y tenía que ir de médico a médico. Sí, me hicieron una pequeña operación en los ojos.
Well, I've only had the C-sections when my kids were born. But no, I've always been very healthy. Not like my mom. She was always with problems and went from doctor to doctor. Oh, I did have a bit of surgery on my eyes.
But I thought you told me you'd never had any problems with your eyes.
Pensé que me había dicho que nunca había tenido problemas en los ojos.
Es que fue hace mucho tiempo. Me operaron esas, ¿cómo se llaman? Esas cosas carnosas que salen en los ojos.
Oh, but that was a long time ago. They operated on those things. What do you call them? Those fleshy things in the eyes?